The Business Journal Roundtable Series is sponsored by iSynergy, creative digital advertising.
We talk about lack of inventory, but what about the city of Youngstown? There's plenty of inventory there, I would think. A lot of it, of course, might be substandard, and I'm not talking about substandard inventory, but are houses within the city of Youngstown in the inner city, are they selling for higher prices? Are they selling at all?
Oh, yes.
I would
Most
say
definitely.
that I've seen more people, before you would get more calls of people who would say they didn't want to be in Youngstown. They wanted to be Boardman or Austintown, but I'd say I've had a handful of buyers that have given that up, and you're seeing more people in Youngstown.
And even in Trumbull County, the same goes for probably Warren. You have your more locations that are more demand, but we see the same thing in Trumbull County too, in the Warren area. But also, there's also a factor of that's big targeted for a lot of your investors, and we're still a huge rental market out there, and the rentals are inventory is as high as it probably has ever been, and that's where you see a lot of that market still have a lock hold on rentals.
Where we struggle, some of the inner city homes, whether it's Warren, Youngstown, or outside of the area, is the condition of the home and being able to finance those homes. That's where we see some of the problems. That those homes have been either sitting or have been owned by an older family for forever and ever and ever, and it just makes it really tough as far as the condition of the home.
Which then gives a target for the investor.
Yes.
That's kind of what happens.
If more people qualify for conventional loans, they're fine, or if they have cash or a 401k that they can pull from for retirement savings to purchase a home, they'll go. If people take a little bit of time to update the homes just slightly and make sure the basics are covered, like no broken glass, no peeling and chip paint, the properties can go. But you get a lot of them that have foundation issues, they've set, they're not updated, and that's where people feel the value for their money isn't being compensated. They're used to the 1,500 square foot home for under 100,000, and now that average is up to 150, and they're not updated, and they're like, they have to put another 50 into it. They don't have the other 50 to remodel. Yeah, they just don't have the resources, and our economy isn't the greatest, but it's not the worst, but the affordability factor has jumped a lot in the last couple of years.
Probably years ago, especially the younger buyers, they wanted turnkey. That's all they did, and that probably 5 years ago, if it was not new paint, no new carpet, the younger generation, younger buyers first time, they didn't have that vision.
No.
And probably over the last 3 to 5 years, I've seen more of those buyers saying, well, we can do this now. So it can go on the market and need paint and carpet, and they're overlooking that because of the supply and demand issue. So that's really transitioned compared to 5 years ago, where if it wasn't turnkey, it was affected on the market.
I think the thing is too is we have to look at affordable housing. Getting back to that, and I think some of the cities have done a great job. So we talk about, first of all, you said about our youth drain. Well, again, that's the economy, and to me, that has to do something with what is it that we're going to do here in the valley. We talk about it, but we need to get people back. Our kids are going someplace else. If you go to Columbus, and they're building new homes left and right, so something's going on there that's bringing people and bringing our college graduates and jobs back, where that's been not so good here. The second thing is that I think we need to work to, even with the state, one of the biggest things, again, goes back to affordable housing. And instead of tearing some of these homes down, which I understand they're blighted and they need to, why aren't we not trying to work with Ohio Housing Financing Agency or somebody to get some funding in, or with down payments, or working with the lenders to do that program to bring the people back into the city. We talk about that, but Cleveland doesn't. I mean, if you had been in Tremont in the past few years, it went from down here to way up here. And it's because people, even the younger people, are moving back, they're educated, and then they're coming back and they want that old house, they want that community and that kind of thing. You know, let's face it, if you own a house, you're building wealth. And so we want to get people back into that community and build some wealth. And I think that our cities need to really focus on doing that and supplying some affordable housing, something that's not 600,000 or 500,000. We need to look at our economy and what's going to drive it, and we need our leadership, our elected leadership to work together bipartisanly and get jobs back here. You bring jobs back, and then it all goes away.
I agree with that, but I also think we also need to promote small business owners, because you talk about Tremont, you talk about Columbus, and people want to be in certain areas because of the walkability, the access to cool restaurants, shops, fitness centers, different things. So like we need to promote that, and I really think if we were able to do that in Youngstown, we would see a huge revitalization, because there are so many really cool opportunities and land opportunities. We have people that say, oh, I want acreage, I want land, I want this, I want that. Houses in Youngstown have that because they tore down 5 houses on both sides of
We
it.
have to get the jobs back
Yeah.
and get the youth back to do that.
But don't we feel that we're on the cusp of this? Don't you guys feel that?
Slowly.
I do. I mean, I do.
The Business Journal Roundtable Series is sponsored by iSynergy, creative digital advertising.